Hello, hypothetical viewers. We are Wandering Dragon, and this is Shining Force CD. It looks like nothing right now because the emulation is paused because this game has voiced cutscenes. Let's unpause the emulation and watch this delightful opening. Here we are on Planet Sega. Okay, we'll go ahead and start. Prepare yourself.
Sonic, software planning.
That's the voiced Sonic opening. And now the opening scroll is fully voiced. It's basically a summary of Shining Force 1.
A fierce battle with Dark Dragon ensued.
And it's read by a soothing children's TV narrator.
With the heroics of Max and the Shining Force, Dark Dragon was defeated.
This game will also have epilepsy warnings, as you can see. Lots of flashing lights. Not good. I think I see May, Adam, Claude,
The victors returned
guy,
to their normal
Bowie,
lives,
and that axe dude we met in our
vowing
main village.
for renewed peace. Some disappeared, some left for further adventure, and some returned to their homes and families. And Anri returned to her kingdom as the Queen of Gardiana.
I gotta say, I thought her name was
With help
Anri.
from
Apparently
King,
it's
Luke,
Anri,
and
which
Lo,
just has two
they
names.
rebuilt the kingdom from the ashes
I also don't know
of
which
the
character
Runefaust
Lag is.
invasion.
That might be someone whose name got translated differently in this than it did in Shining Force 1. I don't remember a Lag.
The story begins 20 years after.
So this is a big time skip. This Shining Force Gaiden, I feel like it's less of a Gaiden and more of a sequel. Gaiden means side story, right? It's the side story. This is more of just an additional story that happens afterwards. And here's our title screen, and you can hear the Shining Force theme in very excellent arrangement. So let's get started. Yeah, so I just wanted to have us listen to the opening scroll without too much interruption, but this is Shining Force CD. Um, I'm gonna have to check the recording on this and making sure that the bottom isn't getting cut off because it looks like it might be slightly in the OBS window. I'm recording this with OBS because this is an emulator. There is not, to my knowledge, a currently available version of this except for the original Sega CD, which God knows where you get one of those nowadays, or how to record on it. I wouldn't know. But yeah, I actually looked up the list of Shining games, and I had originally thought these games came out after Shining Force 2, but apparently Shining Force 1 came out, then Shining Force Gaiden 1 and Gaiden 2. Gaiden 1 was not released in the US, Gaiden 2 was. I played that as a kid. Both games were later re-released as part of Shining Force CD, which is what we're playing right now. So this is the Shining Force CD version of these games, and we're playing Shining Force Gaiden 1, which I've never played. A lot of the same characters, well, a couple of the same characters appeared also in the second Gaiden game, Shining Force Sword of Pages, so I do know some of the characters, but I've never actually played this game. And this game is connected to Shining Force 1, as we just saw. It happens 20 years afterwards, and happens in the Kingdom of Gardiana that we were part of in Shining Force 1 as the hero Max. And Anri, who is one of our party members, became the Queen of Gardiana. Although apparently her name is not Anri, it's Anri, which again, sounds like she just has like a first name and a middle name, and she's just referred to by both, like Anri. I'm gonna keep calling her Anri. I'm more used to it. Also don't know who this little child is, but let's get started. So you're interested in the legends of the Shining Force. To awaken Queen Anri, Rug went out in an expedition with his force. There's also some inconsistency here, because the opening scroll referred to a character named Lag, and I'm guessing that's the same character that's referred here as Rug. This may just be a different translation of the name. I still have no idea who this is, because for the life of me, I cannot remember a character in Shining Force 1 who was called this. And I recognized the others, like, I remember Luke, for example. He's the little warrior dude that we got in the first town. Ken is the knight we got in the first town, the centaur guy. I forget the name of the axe-wielding warrior, but I didn't think it was Lug? I don't remember that. I thought it was, like, started with a G, or something. It was, like, Goro, or something like that. But yeah, I remembered most of the characters in the opening scroll, but I don't recognize a Rug or Lag. But anyway, Rug went on an expedition with his force. Wow, what happened next? You're here for a Shining Force book? Here it is, new game. Which Shining Force book do you want to read today? I don't know why this says inner backup. I'm assuming that's something to do with the fact that we're playing this in an emulator, but Towards the Root of Evil is Shining Force Gaiden 1, and The Evil God Awakes is Shining Force Gaiden 2, as far as I know. So let's start with Towards the Root of Evil. I'll get it for you, just a second. So this is like the first Shining Force where the opening screen was a child reading a book, and it's somehow, weirdly, the way that the child talked about it made it seem like simultaneously we were the heroes going on the adventure, but also the people hearing about that adventure, which was kind of trippy. Here it is. What's the hero's name in this tale? Now, for once, I'm not going to name him Ben because I played Shining Force Gaiden, and this character appears in that game, but not as the main character. This character has an official name, Nick, and that's what he's called in Shining Force, sort of Asia. So we're going to call him that as well here because I know him as Nick. I also already know a fairly important spoiler about his backstory because that's something that's discovered in this game and which the second game assumes you already knew. Nick. Cool name. What difficulty level do you want? We're just gonna go with easy. Let's have a nice, easy time of it. As usual, okay. I feel slightly insulted by that small child reading a book. Slightly insulted. I don't always play games on easy mode. Occasionally I play on hard mode. Sometimes I play on hard mode and then have to switch to normal mode because I'm not good enough in the game. Now let's enjoy the story together. Let's. Alright, our story begins. There's Queen Anri, 20 years later. So she was actually like her father died in Shining Force 1, and she was like just a youth like the rest of us who took the throne. So now we see her here as an adult, well into her reign over the kingdom. Queen Anri, messengers from Cypress have arrived at our gates. Wow, the graphics are definitely different because this is on the Shining Force 1 was on, I think, was like the Sega Mega Gear or something like that, and this was on the Sega CD. So the graphics, the portraits are definitely more detailed, I would say. Like the shading is a little more precise, so it looks different. Although the world map tiles look like they use the same tile set. I am gonna guess because they wanted to reuse the assets from the original games, because these games originally came out on the Sega Game Gear. And that's the version that I played the second one. What? What do they want with us? Your Majesty, they are barbarians. They bring only trouble. Shouts and the clash of armor echoed from the palace gates. Wait here until you are summoned. I've waited long enough. Come on, let's go see Queen Anri. Yeah, this looks like these might be the bad guys. I invoke the Bolt spell, level 3. So, they immediately just murdered our people, so great diplomacy here. Also, apparently the spells are called levels 1, 2, and 3 in the actual world. That's what the characters know them as. Idiots, now that they're out of the way, where's the queen? Halt, in the name of the queen. Who the hell is this? Ken! Oh, wow, he looks different than his portrait in the first game. The graphics have been radically upgraded. In the first game, he has, like, no shading. But he's the centaur we got in the first town. We actually used him, I think, through most of the game. Ken bravely stepped forward to guard his queen. How rude! In Cypress, we have a much different idea of courtesy. Allow me to demonstrate. Dantom, Frabel. So Dantom is like a tiger person. Grrr, you think you're a match for me, old man? Let's find out. This is Frabel, who kind of looks like the devils from Shining Force 2. You Gardiana wimps will grovel before the forces of Cypress, because she has like the purple hair and the blue skin. She looks a lot like Camila. And this is grown-up Anri. Her portrait also very graphically advanced compared to the first game. It does still look like her though. She has the same vaguely purple hair. Ken, low, enough. Oh, that's low? Wow, everyone... You know, they all seem like they were teenagers in the first game, so they should be in their 40s now. Low looked way older than that. Good sir, please pardon my knight's rudeness. Yeah, Lo was like the main character Max's buddy, the healer, right? The cleric who was with us in the first game. I am Anri, Queen of Gardiana. What is your message? Your apology is accepted. I am Waldal, a lord of Cypress. Oh, I think this character appeared also in sort of Hasia, but I'm guessing because the portrait is sort of similar. Not exactly the same because again I played that game on the Sega Game Gear, and this is the Shining Force CD, and the portraits do appear to have been upscaled a bit, so they look a little different. And also the character was called Wardor, but that could also just be a different translation of the name. So this might be the same guy. He was a bad guy in that game also. I don't remember anything else about him. Our King Edmund the Reluctant. Your king's name is Edmund the Reluctant. That's amazing. Sends this, a token of friendship. As Anri opened the small jeweled box, a black fog engulfed her. This fog that puts people to sleep is apparently a recurring element of Shining Force. Queen Anri, someone get a healer now. Like, this guy looks way older than you would think with only 20 years passing. A mere healer will not help your queen. Queen Anri rests in an eternal sleep. Only King Edmund can awaken her. As long as you obey us, we will let her live. Wow, that little head shake animation looks very weird. It looks like their faces are just sliding back and forth. With those words, Waldal disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Gardiana sent its best warriors to Cypress to kill Edmund and save their beloved queen. If he's the only one who can wake the queen up, I'm not sure killing him is the right strategy here. Their army sailed away and was not seen again. I feel like at the beginning of every Shining Force game, the existing army is destroyed, so that then there's a reason why our untrained teenagers are the Shining Force. It's been over a month since our forces left for Cypress. Ken also looks way younger than Lo, which again, they're supposed to be like the same age. We haven't heard a word. They were our best and bravest warriors. If they've lost, maybe Gardiana is lost too. And we'll have to obey the barbarians. There's no one else to send. Wait. What is this? Whoa, we've decided to go after the lost warriors. Is this also someone we already know? Is that you, Roos, the son of Luke? Oh wait, now this is kind of coming back to me. I think this might be Luke, but just a different translation. There was a guy named Luke in our party in the first game, and I think I do recall him being the son of somebody. I don't think we ever met Luke, but I kind of vaguely remember him being like the son of some important guy, and that's why he's like becoming a warrior or whatever. This might be him, not sure. I think a lot of the names are being translated differently, and the portraits also look very different, so it's a little hard to tell. And what do you mean we? Watch this. I feel like it would have been more obvious in the Japanese because presumably the names would be identical since they're not being translated. That's the original language. Bruce whistled. Here's our new party. Hey, look! As usual, it's a bunch of untrained youths. Shade, how is your father Hans? Hans was the elf archer recruited in Shining Force. I think I used him most of the game too. Although I think I replaced him with Diana eventually. He's fine. He wanted me to come because you'll need an archer. Who's that big monk? He looks like old Gong. He's the guy, he's the secret character, well not a secret, but optional character we recruited at that little shrine really early on. Gong is my uncle. He told me of your bravery. He taught me everything I know. My name is Sieg. And here's Wendy. Are you going too? Wendy is apparently unrelated to the characters in the first game, but she is a wizard, so maybe she's connected to Tao somehow? Who knows? The game doesn't say. You don't think I'd miss out on all the adventure, do you? Apis, my son! You are not going. It's much too dangerous. And we also have Ken's son. So this game is basically, I do feel like it's called Gaiden, but it's kind of more like just a sequel starring the children of the characters in the first game. Although we don't get a child of Anri to, like, you know, be our wizard, so we only get children of a couple of them. Please, father, you know I can handle a sword, and Queen Anri needs us. And you want to save Lug, your father, right? Alright, I won't stop you. Unless maybe Lug is a different translation of Luke, like, is this the child of Luke? Not clear right now, but please. I won't stop you. Ruse, who's this stranger you brought with you? Ken, I am honored to introduce our leader. He's not from Gardiana, but he helped us plan our adventure. Here's the main character. Something about your eyes. You remind me of my old friend Max. No, those days are behind you now. We are the new Shining Force. Harsh. But yeah, basically we have a brand new force of untrained teenagers to take on our adventure. And Nick will guide our way. We are ready to follow him to Cypress. Because if you remember, Max disappeared at the end of the first game. The characters all believe that he died trapped in like the place where we fought the Shadow Dragon. But there was a weird cutscene at the end of the game that seemed to suggest that maybe he escaped and was just kind of wandering the earth now. But they presumably never saw him again. We're ready to follow him to Cypress, with your consent, of course. They're old enough, and they're our last hope. I've decided to go with them and help save Queen Anri. I guess Ken has to stay here so that the castle isn't completely abandoned. So Nick and the Shining Force sailed for Cypress. They didn't know danger lay in wait for them just beyond the horizon. So we're off to a very exciting start here. You know, the opening of the game is that our kingdom is at peace, but then people from Cypress come, put the queen into like an enchanted sleep to force us to obey them. Our strongest warriors go to fight them and all vanish, and the new Shining Force, a group of untrained children, has to save the day, as in the first game. 1 week later, on the high seas between Gardiana and Cypress, and they're mostly the children of the people from the first game. I'm honestly sort of guessing Wendy is the child of Tao, because everyone else is somebody's kid, and she is a wizard with red hair. Yawn, not much of an adventure so far, eh, Apis? It's pretty quiet, alright. The graphics are honestly really nice. Like, even though they're the map graphics are similar to the original game, they definitely look like they're a little more detailed, and the colors are really nice. Hey, where'd that golden ball come from? Uh-oh. Trouble brews. I assume this is gonna like blow up our boat or something. The first Shining Force game involved us blowing up multiple boats. It was something of a trend. Oh, it's a teleporty dude. So this is the great Shining Force that will save Gardiana. Won't Walt all be scared when I tell him? Why, you're just a bunch of kids. To be fair, so were we in the original game. Don't underestimate them, wizard. It might be the last mistake you ever make. So I guess he's not going to fight in our battle party, he's just like our advisor. And we have our first battle. This music is really nostalgic. It's the same as from the first game. Okay, let's check out our battle party. We have the Knight Apis. Wow, everyone has protect rings. You know, honestly, I kind of like that because we are the Shining Force setting out to save our kingdom, so it makes sense that the kingdom would outfit us with some good equipment, right? You know, in the first game, we did the first battle with like no equipment whatsoever. Here we're actually all well kitted out. Here's Reese the warrior. Here's Nick the swordsman. He's gonna have egress, of course. The archer Shade. And the monk Sig. And the mage Wendy, who has Blaze. And Tao started with Blaze too. I'm kind of low-key assuming this is Tao's kid. And this is a very small map. It's our first map of the game. We have lots of flying enemies though, so this is going to be a little tricky because we have to make sure people don't get surrounded. Oh, and the Incubus has Blaze. So this is a, you know, this isn't just a cakewalk for the first battle, but we are playing on easy mode. Oh wow, the Dark Mage even has Blaze too. But for now, let's just cautiously go forward. I think the battle system is pretty much the same as the first game. It only came out like the same year too, because based on the list that I looked up, the first Shining Force came out in March of 1992, and this came out originally, not the CD version, but the original, in December of 1992. The Sega CD version was out in 95, I want to say. Or no, 1994. The final part of this original Shining Force saga, Shining Force Part 3, came out in 95. It was a very busy period for Shining Force. Yeah, the battle graphics are pretty updated too. So I like very loosely know some of the plot points in this game because I look it up in prep to see if there's any secret stuff. Oh, great, these bats. We saw them in the first game too, and they put you to sleep to them. They were enough. But I don't know that much about it. So this will be an exciting adventure for all of us. Let's kick things off with some magic. Oh, the wizard graphic is really good. I like the little hat. The sound effects are nice too, I gotta say. The sound design is on point. All the music is nice too. I actually have no idea. This may very well be the exact same music from Shining Force 2, but when I was recording that one, I didn't use headphones, so I always had the sound really low, so I didn't really hear it most of the time. Whereas this, I am recording through headphones. It's not like a proper gaming headset. I did try using my Bluetooth headset, but OBS had some problems with that. The impression I got from a little Googling is that different Bluetooth headsets work in different ways, and some of them are designed such that OBS tries to send they have two audio channels, and OBS tries to send the audio to not the one you want, and I couldn't get it to switch the channel that I wanted. So I'm just using a USB headset. And it's like a super crappy one that I got for free from a job years ago. But it works anyway. The sound quality may not be amazing. But, and looking, I have not really recorded with OBS before. I usually do it in Elgato, so I'm not super familiar with how it works. This will be kind of a little test recording. And it looks like, I can't totally tell from I can't tell whether that's just how it looks in the OBS window or whether it is actually cutting off the top and bottom of the screen slightly. I'm not sure. Because I am recording using it, it can capture like a specific window, which I am doing. But I don't know that much about how it does that, or if there's any settings I need to mess with. I feel like looking at it, OBS seems like it has tons of options, which is nice, but for me, someone who really doesn't know that much about recording videos, is slightly overwhelming. There's so many things I could adjust, and I have no idea which ones I should be adjusting. Wow, good job, Bruce. That's strong. Yeah, so I'm guessing that maybe Lug is a different translation of Luke from the first game. And this is his kid. There we go. I don't know why Hans named his kid Shade. That seems like a really random name. Like an emo name. I'm kind of wondering if Sieg is supposed to be like the German Sieg, which means victory. Or if it's just random, because otherwise being named Sig seems like the most random name ever. Yeah, I'm named Sig. Just a noise that you can make. But I feel like it's always a little hard to tell with old games. You know, when you go back to the 90s, most of the translations were not made by professional translators or anything. A lot of them were just done in-house, you know, kind of on a budget. So sometimes it's not totally obvious how what the journey was between the Japanese name and the translated name. It's sort of bumpy. And just like Gong in the previous game, he also has heal. So Sig here is also our first healer technically. From what I've read, we'll get another like monk later who will be a little more fighting focused, and Sig will be a little more healing focused. I think we're also going to get like several bajillion healers in this game, which is nice because I really like magic users, and maybe they'll have blast like the magic users have in the other games. Yay, first level up. I'm also not totally sure what everyone's gender is in this game. Because the names are not usual names, they're all fantasy names, so I'm not sure whether Shade is supposed to be the son or the daughter of Hans. Oh, I think I saw Shade listed as the son of Hans somewhere, so I'm guessing Shade is a son. I don't know about Apis either. Because these aren't names that I've never met someone named Lucas or Shade in real life, so I don't that doesn't give me much of a clue. And the face portraits just everyone just looks very just pretty basically. So I'm like they could be male or female. Who knows? Mystery. Yeah, there are just like buckets of Shining games and also Shining Force games. There was apparently one for the Nintendo DS. A lot of them didn't come to the US though. I also discovered that a lot of these got remade in Japan as mobile games, so those are quite inaccessible. So I honestly, the fact that they got remakes makes me guess that the series must have been, the Shining series must be pretty popular in Japan, even though I don't think it's as famous in the US. If only, I'm kind of concluding that just because most of the games didn't ever come to the US. I feel like if it was popular, they would have. Controls a little. Well, I mean, you might as well use all the heals you got, right? X with X. We have to carefully approach this wither because he has blaze too, which is no joke. And he's accompanied by a bat who can put us to sleep, which also sucks. Oh no! Hang in there, Nick. Okay, he didn't get put to sleep. That's the important part here. I'm gonna attack the bat just so we can kill everything and get all the X. The first battle, you know, you gotta try and get a couple level ups. Excellent. Boosting everyone up. Oh, it looks like, yeah, it's funny. It's still called agility in the stat screen, but it looks like they're calling it quickness in the level up panel. I don't know if maybe that was always the case and I just never noticed that. It's possible. We're casting a blaze. Good job, Wendy. Okay, now we can start moving in on this guy. I'm trying to spread everyone out so we won't have multiple people caught in blaze too. But now that will all go to waste because I do actually want to be able to attack I like Nick's like fluffy hair. He has like one little cowlick that's sticking up. As expected, as expected. They should both survive. Maybe not. Shit. It's not an battle. So assuming this is like the other games, we lost the first battle, and this is easy mode. Nick is exhausted. Well. Oh, this is really cute. The Shining Force Sword of Hasia, the original, maybe it does now with this remake, actually doesn't have this thing where the characters are like running around on the status screen. So let's raise... Oh, he was the only one who died. Good. Okay. Help. Member. Save. Member. Change talk. Oh, there's a talk function. Who do you want to talk to? Wow. Ah. Nick. Didn't have a lot to say there. I'm Bruce, a strong and loyal warrior. I won't let you down. Let's talk to everyone real quick. With my father's blessing, I offer my skill as an archer. Gong taught me that there is a time to fight and a time for peace. I'll blow them away with my blaze spell. My father gave me his spears. Oh, wow, it's kind of neat that we can actually talk to all the party members now. That's fun. Auto? I guess we can put people on auto or something. Well, let's save. And then let's, yeah, it's been about 30 minutes, so let's call this episode a wrap. Welcome to Shining Force Gaiden 1, where even on the easiest difficulty setting, we lost the first battle handily. This bodes well, no doubt. It bodes well. But I'm very excited to play this game and finally play the first one of you know, the previous game to the one I actually played as a kid and find out more about Prince Nick, who is in Shining Force Set of Asia, but you know, you don't find out as much about him because this is sort of his story. So thank you for watching, hypothetical viewers, and get excited for more of Shining Force CD.